Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Josh Poet with you here, First Contact Radio. So we've survived another weekend. We're here for another week. A lot of crazy things continuing to go on. None of that has stopped. So we're going to make sure we get as much to you as possible. There's a lot. So we're going to be bringing to you the rest of this hour. Let's start things off with our date for today, our dream spell date. Today is a blue rhythmic hand. Blue rhythmic hand guided by the hand. Blue is the color of transformation. Rhythmic tone is tone number 6. It's called the rhythmic tone of equality. And the guide for, or the symbol for today and the guide for today are the hand. And the hand is all about accomplishment. You can use the hand to kill. You can use the hand to heal or create. Choice is up to you. On the Gregorian calendar, it is Monday, August 8th, 2011. So that catches you up to speed. Like I said, lots of news and information. I want to get you started right away so we can get through as much as we can. Dirk Bradshaw has some time off at the moment. He's still working on some of these stories, getting some big news ready for you. But in the meantime, we're going to address the issue of the Philadelphia experiment. We're going to start right now. Here we go.
In the middle of the Second World War, there was a technological accomplishment that made the Manhattan Project look easy, at least according to a handful of true believers. They claim Albert Einstein and other scientists designed a way to make a ship vanish into thin air, literally, and reappear somewhere else. Bizarre or not, the story of teleportation has inspired 2 movies, countless books, and numerous websites filled with rumors and conspiracy theories. What actually happened to the USS Eldridge in the fall of 1943? Join us for the true story of the Philadelphia experiment.
Rusted-out warships don't usually make the pages of Playboy. Yet sandwiched between nude layouts in the October 1996 Greek edition of Playboy, there are pictures of a ship called the Leon. The article is not the usual stuff of Playboy either. It describes how the Leon, originally an American World War II destroyer, is being scrapped after a half-century of service and nearly 4 decades with the Greek Navy. But as it happens, this is no ordinary warship. The vessel the Greeks call the Leon has a legendary past life. Long ago, she is known as the USS Eldridge, back when she is supposedly the subject of an audacious experiment in teleportation and invisibility. As the story goes, the experiment takes place in the early years of World War II as a countermeasure against German U-boats. Allied convoys are a lifeline, delivering men, goods, and weapons in Britain's hour of need. But they are slow and clumsy, often made up of outdated, decrepit ships. The warships protecting them are a step behind enemy subs, as they have wider turning radiuses. A U-boat can easily outmaneuver a destroyer, slip into the convoy, and zero in on a defenseless target. In 1942 alone, more than 1,000 Allied ships are torpedoed and sunk. To combat the subs, the U.S. Navy develops a more maneuverable kind of warship called a destroyer escort.
A destroyer escort is an anti-submarine vessel, and it's sort of like a destroyer, except that it's not as fast. It has a much smaller turning circle.
Better maneuverability might not be the only thing in the works. Believers in the Philadelphia experiment say there are plans to give the destroyer escort the supreme advantage over submarines: invisibility. The alleged brainchild of none other than Albert Einstein. Einstein, in fact, worked for the Navy at the time. Officially, he is working on ideas for conventional weapons, including torpedoes and underwater mines. But this is a cover for Einstein's real project, at least so say believers. Among them, a supposed eyewitness to the experiment named Carlos Allende.
According to Allende, the Navy used a variation of Albert Einstein's unified field theory, which at that point in time was supposedly uncompleted. And they used this unified field theory to bend light, to render the ship invisible because it was encased in this electromagnetic fog.
It is also from Allende that we learn the identity of the supposed test ship, a destroyer escort named the USS Eldridge. This leap into the technological unknown is not without its terrors, or so says Alfred Bielek, who claims to have been on the scientific team.
We were all very concerned, and I might add for 3 days prior, from about the 9th onward, many of us in that crew and working on that project had that strange feeling in the pit of our stomach that something was drastically wrong.
Nevertheless, in July 1943 in Philadelphia Naval Yard, the experiment is said to go forward. Powerful electromagnetic fields are engaged around the Eldridge, a skeleton crew aboard. Scientists and officers watching at a safe distance. The only other reported eyewitness is Carlos Allende, a deckhand on a nearby Liberty ship.
And what he claims he saw was a ship that was engulfed in a greenish, almost a St. Elmo's fire, a green fiery fog.
As the electromagnetic fog swallows the Eldridge, strange optical effects manifest themselves.
And that as he watched and was able to even insert his arm into what he called the terrific flow of this energy, the ship disappeared.
To the amazement of all the onlookers, they not only had radar invisibility, they had optical invisibility.
The Eldridge reportedly achieves the supreme form of camouflage, invisibility. But then comes an even stranger effect, teleportation. Chroniclers of the Philadelphia experiment are divided on whether this happens that first day or in a follow-up test. But what they do agree on is that as the Eldridge starts to reappear, there is a sudden flash of light. That the ship vanishes from sight once again and simultaneously begins to reappear in the Naval Yard in Norfolk, Virginia, 300 miles away. After a few minutes, she dematerializes in Norfolk and reappears in the midst of another ozone-laden green fog in Philadelphia. Throughout this miraculous journey, the USS Eldridge emerges unscathed. But for her crew, it is a different story.
Men were molecularly attached to the ship, bonded with the ship as it was teleported. Men were driven insane, men caught fire, men went invisible. I mean, it is terrible, horrific things that happened to these crew members.
As we continue, the nightmare that follows and the alleged cover-up.
The family was never told the truth. They were told basically that they were lost at sea during the war as part of the war effort, which is, of course, a very plausible answer.
The idea of teleportation first surfaced in The Man Without a Body, written by Edward Page Mitchell in 1877. In the story, the machinery breaks in the middle of a teleportation, leaving the subject with his head and body separated. History's Mysteries will return on the History Channel.
Philadelphia Naval Yard, summer 1943. According to legend, the USS Eldridge returns after being teleported hundreds of miles. As she rematerializes out of a thick green fog, observers are electrified by the achievement, but their excitement turns to horror. Molecules have been scrambled, human with metal. Limbs have been fused to bulkheads. A gruesome sight.
First thing they found was 2 sailors buried in the steel deck. The bodies were literally buried in the steel, dying or near dead. 2 more were found standing upright in a bulkhead, also buried in the steel. 5th man with his hand buried in the steel up to his wrist.
Other sailors are simply missing, vaporized into thin air. For survivors, there are still other problems due to the powerful electromagnetic fields they have been exposed to.
Men were driven insane, men caught fire, men went invisible. I mean, it was terrible, horrific things that happened to these crew members.
The problem basically was that the human nervous system could not take exposure to that level of magnetic and electric fields, and it would cause neural damage.
Nerve damage so severe that some of the victims are reportedly institutionalized, while falsely classified as missing in action.
Their family was never told the truth. They were told basically that they were lost at sea during the war as part of the war effort, which is, of course, a very plausible answer.
In one version of the story, the men are susceptible to something.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of people.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw a UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing. What they're losing from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? Must be turning in their graves. Redcoats are coming, Big Brother's watching. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. One if by land and 2 if by sea. And I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk, thank you very much. This is Josh. This is the UFO News for today, August 8th, 2011. We got a number of stories here. Let's get started. Our first one comes to us. It says UFO Saint Brieuc. The same crop circle, Wiltshire, August 4th. Let's take a look at this. See what this is all about. Alright, here we go. We got a series of crop circles, actually the same crop circle. Give you a good look at this here. Alright. So what do you make of this crop circle here? Looks like, what is this, a different one coming up here? We got another one coming up here. Alright, here we go now. This is an interesting looking object. This kind of looks similar to that crop circle that was there in some ways. It's definitely a most interesting looking star. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 points it looks like it has. Very much like this crop circle. See this? There you go. So this definitely has some similarities to it. Alright. This video is online at our YouTube page or our firstcontactradio.com page, right hand side, UFO News. And you'll be able to link to the video also from our YouTube page as well. This next video is UFOs up in the sun. Now, you've heard the sun's doing some crazy things these days, and here, just before this CME was captured, you're going to see a lot of different little UFOs up here. Alright. There we go. Now, look at all these little white spots there around the sun. You could see some of them right here, distinct 3 little dots here, you know, groupings of little dots. They're like in these little groupings here. So this is quite strange indeed. So what are those? I'm not sure. Check it out, see what you think. Next one here comes to us from the Examiner. It says UFO on live Skycam celebration of light post-show finale. And it says that a UFO incident over the city of Vancouver was captured on a live night vision Skycam in the minutes after Canada's Then and Now Saturday finale to the 21st annual Celebration of Light Festival. The history of the fireworks, along with contemporary online search analytics, suggest how the incident may be archetypal of unconscious desires for contact with higher intelligences within the collective consciousness of the reported 1.4 million festival attendees. The video shows a large luminous object that first appeared low over the horizon to the northeast, following a steady course southwest as it was tracked on camera. Image measurements show the UFO's variable magnitude registered on an orb on the Vancouver UFO Skywatch night vision Skycam infrared sensor. The orbs change diameter by as much as 25%, both contracting and expanding in the 2-minute period of observation. Online tracking tables, including those provided by Kelsky and Heavens Above, revealed how no satellites were anticipated traveling in such a way at the time of the incident. Independent third-party documentation of the UFO video capture was provided by Ustream.tv, whose online archives of the VUFO's night vision sky camera is available for scientific investigation and review. This looks like it is the large luminous video here. Let's take a look at this, see what we got. Alright, this looks just like it's a still image here. And I believe we saw there was a video underneath it, wasn't there? Right here. Let's check this out. Okay. Alright, there's the big, quite a large light there. Alright, there you go. So we're going to move on. You can follow that story on your own. This next one comes to us from, says UFO outbreak, August 2011. Now this has to do with the moon. This is a long video here. I'm going to play just a part of it to get you started. This is quite fascinating indeed what this gentleman has found here. So let's check it out. Here we go.
And what this video is about today is going to be about orbs. I call it the orb outbreak. But really there is no orb outbreak. They've been around for a long time. Probably one of the most documented UFO phenomenons are orbs. And frankly, they're everywhere. And they show up all the time. There's tens of thousands of reports about orbs. There's many, many great videos on the internet. And also, I assume, in military files. But I'm going to throw some links at you in the comment section of this video that I'd like you to go check out. One of them is going to be a link called Seeing UFOs PA, and it's about this woman who has some very high-end night vision equipment, who has made some unbelievable videos of a reoccurring phenomenon that happens apparently in her backyard. I'm also going to put a link in the comment section in regard to a video that occurred in Australia, was taken in Australia in 2010, that I think, in my opinion, is the most incredible orb activity you're likely to ever see. It's going to blow you away. It's really, really shocking. And I'm also going to put a link to a YouTube user. His name is Scott, and I've communicated with him on a very limited basis. His channel is called The Lunar Colony, and he's actually the gentleman who I learned about this new take on the orb phenomenon from. And I'm going to start out, I'm going to show you some pictures that you're probably very familiar with, or remotely familiar with. Then I'm going to show you some pictures that you're probably not familiar with. Now, everybody who's watching this video, you have a computer. You can put your hands and your eyes directly on everything I'm about to show you. There's nothing secret about this at all. It's all out there for you to see. And I'll help you out to tell you how to find what I'm seeing. And that's about it. So let's have a little adventure today with the orbs. Have a good day, folks.
Alright, here's the first one he's talking about here that this woman took from her backyard. Alright, we got a couple series out here, as you can see, in the sky over Russia. Quite a few over Mexico in 2004. Alright, so there's a whole compilation of sightings right there. We don't have time to go through all of them, but the video is linked up to our page, as well as the article itself, UFO News, from our page at firstcontactradio.com. Continuing along, this is here is from the Daily Miner. Said UFO sighting, Kingman light show defied logic, photographer says. Kingman, a sighting in the skies over Kingman Thursday night is drawing comparisons to the Phoenix lights. For more than an hour, beginning sometime around 8 p.m., a Kingman man said he photographed a series of lights that danced their way from the east near Kingman Airport to the southern horizon, creating oval and rectangular formations as they crossed the sky. They weren't zooming around, said 20-year-old Michael Baca, who noticed the lights while driving away down Airway Avenue with his cousin. They were very methodical in their movement. Baca followed the lights out of the desert, where he said multiple other residents already gathered to get a better look at them. I'm a college student. I try to be logical about things, but I don't know what this was. Alright, there's more to the articles you can see here. Pictures of the multiple sightings that are going on right here. So you check that out, look into it further, see what you think. Here we got UFO mystery art found while experts say aliens are reaching out. Skeptics often point to vast distances in outer space as reason to doubt that UFOs could be regular interstellar visitors to Earth, but ufology experts say there's now proof that alien life is here. It's art because it's a big one clue that helps scientific speculation about UFOs being real. No one would have believed that the last years of the 19th century, this would be watched keenly and closely by intelligence greater than man's. And what we know here, wrote H.G. Wells of the Martians he depicted in The War of the Worlds. It is a piece of alien art that's been recently unearthed here at the site of the Oregon County Fair, outside of Eugene in the woodsy suburb of Veneta. Has truly alien roots, says local art experts. Then this art is truly out of this world and more than a bit scary and violent. In fact, the piece of art image that accompanies this story does have some mystery associated with the paint that was used to create it. I've never seen, felt, smelled, or even tasted paint such as would have been used to make this. There's something almost 3D about parts of it, and there's a fuzzy haze in the center that I can't explain, said one of the local artists. So let's take another look at the image. You can see it's right here. Alright. Quite fascinating indeed. There we go. Moving on, our next story here. This is also a... What was this? This was a UFO morpher in front of a spacecraft here. So you see I got a little dot right here, another one right up here, and you can see this one now becomes from one light to a series of lights. Okay, and then it's just going to be flying around here, and of course there's the test that we normally see, just checking to make sure that the object is truly an object on different levels. Alright, and we have one more, and this took place in Mexico on the 7th of August. Check this one out here. Alright, there we go, right there. We got the little one here. Move this along just a bit. Alright, so there you have it. There's our UFO sightings for today. Our UFO news today, quite a bit going on. I just showed you part of it, and as you can see, I was only able to get through some of what I had here today. There's more out there. There's definitely more sightings taking place in the world these days. Things to pay attention to. I'm going to jump away for just a minute, and then I will be right back. Stay tuned.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947.
One day, I was looking to the sky. I saw it. Up above the clouds, it was a silver shiny disc floating high above the ground. Then I saw them waving to me. It was E.T. and his family. Something happened up the street from the ground. The sky had shot the UFO down. Roswell, he didn't make it home. Roswell, he didn't make it home.
The Army Air Force.
All right, and I'm back. So here we go. We're going to continue on. And for those on Blog Talk, well, we just do half hour on the radio, and the rest you can pick up live on our Ustream feed, or you can just catch us any time over the course of now through forever on firstcontactradio.com. YouTube is our page where we have all our videos. So for those of you signing off, check back in with us. Otherwise, let's keep going here. All right, we've got informable.com. This is leaked video of Tristan explosion at the nuclear power station. Says the Tristan nuclear power station is a collection of sites run by Hervé and EDF located in 4 different communities in St. Paul, Troyes, Château, and Pierre in Drôme, Brolin, and La Plade in Vaucluse. So here we have, let's just get to the video itself so you can see what's going on here. Alright, as you can see. There's no sound with this, just the video itself of what's going on. And as you can truly see, there is, looks like there's a fire, doesn't it? Looks like there's some sort of a problem that needs to be attended to. So that's going on at a nuclear plant in France. Okay, southern France. This happened on July 3rd. Now, you didn't hear about the mainstream news. I'm pretty certain we mentioned something about it here at that time. We didn't have any video to show you like now, but we did have a report. Also, I have another report that is talking about leakage causes operators to shut down 9 Mile 2 nuclear plant. It says the 9 Mile 2 nuclear station was shut down this morning after higher than normal leakage was detected in the dry well, the plant operator said. So, nuclear problems happening. Pay attention, folks. Pay attention. Alright, here we're going to jump to this story here. This is the Navy SEALs. And I'm sure that you heard the story about how the Navy SEALs is... Alright. Alright. Let me just jump away from there. So what we got going on here is you've heard the story about the Navy SEALs and how that they were killed over the course of this last weekend, and stories are unclear. There was one story, it said that the Navy SEALs were killed, that there were 20 of them that were killed. Another story said 22 were killed. Another story said 30 were killed. Of course, all the stories were uncertain about if any of the ones that were actually on the plane or the helicopter, they said it was a Chinook, were actually involved with the assassination or the killing of bin Laden. And that has not been confirmed. But here's the thing, folks. Bin Laden has been dead for about 10 years. He wasn't killed just recently by SEAL Team 6. That was a story that was made up. And now, the only gentlemen who supposedly know the story, somehow, they get killed. Now there's no one to talk about it. There's no one to talk about it. So all we have left are these fake pictures of Obama and Clinton and the few others looking anxiously at a, well, what would appear to be a wall or a series of monitors in the least technological room I could possibly imagine for it to be a war room, as we have all kind of come to believe might be out there. So that's all we have left, these fake pictures and the fake stories, but the truths are out there. So I think you should look into this a bit more. You know, it's sad. It's sad that these officers get sacrificed like they do, that these Marines and these soldiers go out and, you know, the SEALs, and it's not right. Not right at all. But that's what the government does. That is what your government does. It lies to you, and then it makes up stories because they think that you're dumb enough to believe the stories. If you want to play the part of being dumb, then go ahead and play the part of being dumb. That's what they think of you. Now, here's one that is a definite sign that people should pay attention to. This involves quartzite. Now, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, we did a report about quartzite, saying that there was martial law that was imposed in quartzite. Haven't heard a lot about that since then, but now here we have the quartzite police chief who's calling Oath Keepers and the Tea Party terrorists. Now, let me remind you about Oath Keepers. I've got their site up right here. Oath Keepers, and a while back we had Stuart Rhodes, the founder of Oath Keepers, on. Oath Keepers goes around and they travel around the country and around the world, and their objective is one single objective: to make sure that Americans understand the Constitution, that they have the constitutional right to turn down an unconstitutional order, and that members of the military and police reaffirm their oath to defend and protect the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That's what Oath Keepers does. Reminds people about their oath to the Constitution to protect it against enemies, foreign and domestic. That's it. That is what they do. Because of that, we have the chief police of Quartzsite, Arizona saying they are a terrorist organization. Really? An organization that reminds men and women in the military and in the police force about their oath to protect the Constitution. How did that get to become terrorism? I say the mayor of Quartzsite, or the police chief of Quartzsite, I say that there's quite a big problem there. Now, it's quite possible that our reports about the police state might have a lot of truth to it, because this says police chief Jeff Gilbert. So Jeff Gilbert, what are you doing out there telling people that this is a terrorist organization? Seems to me, sir, the only terrorist is you complaining that the people who are starting to stand up for the Constitution are causing the problems. It's not right, sir. It's not right at all. So, but Oathkeeper's response was, "We're your huckleberries, Chief." If you remember, those were the words in Val Kilmer used in his, what was it, the OK Corral? Battle of the OK Corral tombstone. So, okay, so moving right along, let's go check out some other news here. This is the Iowa caucus. It says Bachmann, Romney, and Paul on top. In the Iowa caucus race for Republican presidential nomination, 5 candidates are in double digits, and many voters are open to changing their minds before caucus day arrives. The first Rasmussen reports telephone survey of Iowa's likely caucus participants shows that Minnesota Congresswoman Michelle Bachmann attracts 22% support, while former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney earned 21%, just slightly behind Texas Congressman Ron Paul at 16%, followed by Texas Governor Rick Perry at 12%, and former Minnesota Governor Tim Pawlenty at 11%. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich picks up 5% in the vote. Businessman Herman Cain wins 4%, and former U.S. Ambassador to China John Huntsman at 2%. 7% would prefer some candidate to see some other candidate. And there's more to the story. It'll be up for you to read it. So these are still going on. The battles are going on. We got to keep hoping good thoughts for Ron Paul, because he does have different ideas in mind than some of these others who are just caught up in the same old ideas. Ron Paul talks about the Constitution. Now I'm guessing that this Jeff Gilbert over there in Quartzsite probably is not going to like him too much, because apparently Jeff Gilbert really isn't into the Constitution. There's your terrorist. Jeff Gilbert of Arizona, he's the terrorist. If there's any FBI listening out there, I'd like to report Jeff Gilbert of Quartzsite, Arizona. He's pretending to be the police chief, but he has no constitutional bone in his whole body. And he wants to claim that those who are talking about the Constitution are terrorists. So FBI, CIA, go do your job. Arrest that guy. He's a terrorist, and he's peddling terrorism, and he's down there in Quartzsite. Now, Elenin. Big story. We hear lots of stuff about Elenin. So there's no reason why we're not going to hear a little bit more. I'm not going to play this whole thing because it's quite lengthy. We're going to play part of it, and then you can follow the rest yourself. So here we go.
Okay, guys, what we're going to do here. This is Common Elenin, and I haven't really done anything with Common Elenin to show you anything, so I'm going to show you. This is August 7th. This is its current location. Right here. It's already crossed just past the Earth's orbit around the sun here. It's just on the inside of it. Let's scroll in a little bit. So it's right here. It's just on the inside of the Earth's orbit here at this point, headed toward Mercury. But what I want to do, I mean, I know a lot of people think that this is going to be some huge, massive comet that's going to come through, but I mean, the more I look at what's going on, the less I think it is. From what I can tell, the reason why the coma is so gigantic, and really and truly, in terms of space, it's actually a very small coma, from what I can gather. But I mean, there's been past events that have had a heck of a lot bigger comas than this. But from what I can gather, is the reason for the coma being the size that it is because in the direction of the comet from the sun, there hasn't been that much solar wind or solar pressure bombarding the comet itself, which is what creates when the solar wind comes off the sun and hits a comet. It creates the heat from the sun begins to warm the comet, and that creates the coma around the comet itself, the gas, the bright lights, the beauty of it. The tail is formed when the solar wind gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and the debris from the coma begins to come back behind the comet itself and forms the tail. It's part of the coma. But since the solar wind in the area of comet Elenin is so far, at least so far, is not hitting any kind of solar wind, that's the reason why we have a large coma and a very, very small tail. I mean, again, guys, this is at this point, this is my opinion based on talking to several people that understand space fairly well, a whole lot better than I do, I can tell you that much. I wouldn't consider them experts or professionals, but these are people that have studied space and comets and asteroids and meteorites and meteoroids and all these different things for 15, 20 years of their life, and they get it and they understand it, and that's why we have such a big, huge, massive coma and very little bit of a tail. And but I'm telling you guys, this comet is going to turn out to be a lot less than what people are expecting. It's going to be a letdown, and it's going to play right into the books. Okay? It's just going to cause people to be like, man, I've trusted these people. I was believing and believing and believing, and nothing happened. You know, that kind of thing. But also consider, guys, that, here, let's look at something first. We'll go ahead and bump this up. And this is where it's closest to the sun, just short of Mercury's path there. Just short of it, and that's about as close as it's going to get to the sun. And Earth will be right here, and the tail from the comet will be coming off this way at this point on September the 11th on 9/11/11.
Alright, you're going to have to go check this out on your own, because it's about, there's another 10 more minutes left to go on that video. Elenin YU2055, Nibiru. There's a lot of interesting thought about what's going on with these planets. I know we talked quite a bit on this show about it. You know, it certainly seems, I don't have the answers. I don't have all the answers on what's about to go on, but I know that there's something that's definitely taking place, because you're hearing these reports every day about the ships that are gathering. You're hearing the stories about these objects that are out there in space. They are coming from somewhere, and there are thoughts that some of these are intelligently being directed, which could be spaceships or space stations of things of that nature. And again, I've told you the story that was in the past. It was, I don't know, within the last year, about these rogue planets that just suddenly show up, which does fit in line with the idea of the planet Nibiru that we've heard about and read about in the works of Zecharia Sitchin and the other, the further works of, that have been talked about out there. Eric von Daniken, Chariot of the Gods, the Anunnaki, Star Travelers who've been down here on this planet for some time. So something is going on, and it's going on now, and over the course of this next couple months is when you're going to get an opportunity to experience. We're living in a really cool time. We're going to see some things that are quite different than others have seen. I contend that there's good things about to go down, even though that there's also some bad things that are happening with the Earth and Earth changes. There's a lot of good going on as well. We have to find our way through all of the bad ugliness to find the good within, because I don't believe that we've come to this point in time where our civilization has evolved and is now just to be wiped out. I don't believe that that is the next step along the journey. That is why I'm here, to help to spread that word and that message that we're all going to make it through this, okay, maybe not everybody, but those who are prepared, and there are those who are going to make it through this, because this is part of evolution. It's not the end. This isn't a smackdown to smack everybody off the planet dead, but to help beings on this planet evolve. And that is what I believe is directly ahead of us. And I'm going to stick with that belief because that's what it tells me on the inside. Now, moving right along, this is a story about solar flares and water spouts. Thought this was quite interesting, so I want you to check this out.
Neighbors are getting a good look at the damage done by a water spout turned tornado. It was caught on video by several people at a street festival from across the lake.
This was a little bit different. We were all at the street party last night over on Farron Park, and we started to see the twisting clouds above us. And as we walked down to the lake, you could see the water spouts. There was actually two of them headed across Lake Eustis.
People watched that water spout as it came up off the lake and moved closer to land, then getting up here, even tearing off the roof of this boat ramp.
Kind of came across, peeled up his, and that's what did it to Ron.
And parts of that boat ramp ended up over here in the neighbor Jack Woodley's yard. Looking around at the neighborhood, what do you think about things today?
We got a little bit of a mess to clean up.
Neighbors say the tornado only lasted 40 to 50 seconds.
All we seen was a couple raindrops, and then it was here.
But it did plenty of damage. Screened-in patios crumbled, debris spread across yards, and the power was out for 3 hours. But today this neighborhood is cleaning up, coming together, and helping each other out. They feel lucky no one got hurt.
We'll have fun picking up, and we'll be all done.
In Eustis, Amanda Evans, News 13.
All right, now that is the key, helping each other out. You know, sometimes down here on Earth, as you know, people get really disjointed. They stop communicating with each other, and they forget about what's really important. Sometimes in life, we go through experiences where we remember a bit what's more important. And it's helping each other out. It's working with each other. People are the commodities, not all the things that we make and all the monies and all of the products and things of that nature. Those are just things. Things can be replaced, can be remade. But the human being, the earthling, the being down here on Earth, the beings from other worlds, that is what is the precious commodity, life itself. So helping each other out, working together is very important. Unfortunately, it seems to take disaster-type events to bring people together. But once they come together, you know, at least they come together. That's a good thing. So hopefully we're not going to have to involve too many problems for people really to come together. Or across the country and across the world, I know others are seeing that coming together is certainly necessary to survive where they are and get through the challenges that they're going through. You can't go through these things alone. You need to find somebody to go with it through. All right? We're all going to be experiencing that because we're all down here, and we just got to hang tight and have faith in each other. We'll make it through. Now, this next one here is about the market, and I'm going to let this play for a minute here. As you know, that we got downgraded here in the United States from AAA to an A-, and here's a report all about that.
Nosedive after news of the U.S. government's credit rating downgrade.
I think it's scary at the moment.
Indexes in Australia, New Zealand, Hong Kong, South Korea, Japan, and China slumped anywhere from 1 to 5%. Still, one analyst in Hong Kong says it could be worse.
I think the reaction in Asia has been much better than expected. I think it's rather muted. Still, investors are pessimistic about the future.
Traders in Australia say the market jitters come down to one word: debt.
The whole world's just got too much debt, so we need to cut down the debt, and governments need to look at that, I think, and
companies as well.
The one-notch downgrade to AA+ from AAA has Obama administration officials fuming. But Standard & Poor's, the agency that issued the downgrade, is defending its decision.
What we actually are saying is there's been a mild deterioration in the U.S.'s credit standing relative to AAA. Based on historical experience, we wouldn't expect that much financial impact in terms of higher interest rates, for example.
Finance officials from the G7 industrial countries issued a joint statement late Sunday. The statement says the G7 is committed to taking all necessary measures to support financial stability and growth. Despite the reassurances, all eyes are on U.S. markets, with futures pointing to a day of declines. Noel Waghorn, The Associated Press.
All right, so challenges. They're playing the old money game. Just remember, it's a game. Okay? Whatever is going on, there are those who are behind the scenes, the shadow government, that are pulling the strings behind what is going on. Now, they may not have absolute control of everything. Things may get beyond what they believe it's capable of doing and may cause more problems. Doesn't mean that there isn't someone behind the scenes orchestrating events, because that's just the way of the world that we're in. It's unfortunate. The Obama administration is just a puppet administration, just like the administration before. I'm guessing that the Bush administration maybe had a little bit more pull into some things because you had more of a direct connection between father and son, whereas Obama, well, he's not the son of a president who was the former CIA chief like George Bush was. So I think that we've got different challenges that we're facing, but nonetheless, there's still a liar in the White House, and there's still problems in the world because people are listening to the liar in the White House and his administration. So when things change and people stop listening, things will improve, hopefully. Now, let's jump over here. We've got two more stories real quick. You may have heard about London. London has been on fire and burning over the course of the weekend. Lots of riots took place over the death of a 29-year-old boy. Man. And out of reaction, as I understand it, he was shot. Friends, relatives, people around say that he was a nonviolent person, though they're not completely certain of the activities that took place. He himself is a nonviolent person. A lot of witness testimony about that. And then after this shooting, there was a group of friends and family that gathered together in protest, marched on down into the main square there towards the police station, and then things got a bit crazy. Apparently a 16-year-old girl threw a rock, which led to some sort of physical altercation, and that escalated from there. So, not hearing a lot about the London burning. Now that today they're saying that they've arrested folks, and I'm sure that they have, but there's probably a lot more going on. Whatever the mainstream is telling you about it, you don't necessarily believe it. You can go online right now and you can watch live what is happening. They got webcams. There's people putting information out all the time. And now down here, check this out. Greenspan says U.S. can pay any debt it has because it can print money to pay it. Well, let's listen to what this guy has to say.
Is Treasury bonds still safe to invest in?
Very much so. I think this is not an issue of credit rating. The United States can pay any debt it has because we can always print money to do that. So there is zero probability of default.
Zero probability of default because the United States could print any amount of money that it wants to print. Well, when you keep printing money and there's more and more money that's out there, doesn't it make the amount of money that's already out there less valuable? Think about it for a minute. Of course it does. Of course it does. When you keep making more of something, think of it this way. You have a pie. If you cut the pie into 4 slices, everybody gets, 4 people get a big chunk of that pie, right? But if you decide that you want to cut the pie into smaller pieces, in other words, print more money, so you're going to cut more slices. Everybody gets a much smaller piece of that pie. That pie is not quite as filling for the people who are going to eat it. And eventually they print so much, or the pie is cut into so many slices that you only get a crumb of it. That same pie, that large piece that you had, is not the same as when it's cut up into all these small pieces. Same idea with the money. When they just keep printing money and they don't have anything to back that money, anything real, solid like gold or silver or some sort of real wealth, then that money eventually loses its value. And when it loses its value, well, problems that we're having today are the problems that we see, right? Now, one last story here I just want to show you about. This is a message from Anonymous. Anonymous, Operation Facebook. So if you're out there and you're looking to get involved with Anonymous, well, you can go. They have a website, whatistheplan.org. Here it says, "Attention, citizens of the world. We wish to get your attention, hoping you heed the warning as follows. Your medium of communication you all so dearly adore will be destroyed. If you are a willing hacktivist or a guy who just wants to protect the freedom of information, then join the cause and kill Facebook for the sake of your own privacy. Facebook has been selling information to G-O-V, I don't know what that is right there. So that's the next thing in the agenda for Anonymous, to make a Facebook attack. So be prepared. You're going to hear more of that news and information. We'll follow that as we hear more. In the meantime, let's go ahead and do a meditation. Let's bring some positive vibes to what's going on in our world, in the world around us, and with the friends and family and people that we know. So go ahead and close your eyes. Here we are at the beginning of a new week. So I want you to see yourself waking up out of bed, stretching, stepping into a shower. And as you step into that shower, I want you to imagine that the water pouring down upon you is not just water, but is light. Light, multicolored light. And as this light rains down upon you, showers down upon your head and rinses down, all the problems of the present, the previous weeks, are washed away, and you see them washed away down the drain. And as you wash all these problems washed away, you feel lighter, healthier, more relaxed, and you're ready to step forward. And with that energy, you step out into the world, dressed in your best, out to make a difference. And you walk out into the world, and you begin your walk along the path of life. And as you're walking along the path of life, you meet others who are out there doing the same thing on their journeys. And I want you to imagine, as you connect with others, that you help them with tasks that they have, and others are helping you. Imagine helping someone pick up a heavy object. Imagine somebody else helping you pick up heavy objects. Rocks, stones, trees that are in the path. Imagine walking along the path till one by one, more and more people join you upon that path. And you feel a great strength and unity as people of the world come together to celebrate their true freedoms, which is the freedom given to you by the great Creator. And with this freedoms and with this great power and this strength, as we're walking down the path, I want you to imagine sending light and love out into the world right now. Sending light and love out into the world. And as you send light and love out into the world, feel the world smiling, because it is exactly what the world needs. Imagine this color green from your heart chakra going out there, down into the earth, and to others around the planet right now. Imagine the places in the world where there are challenges, where there are people in pain, and see the love helping to alleviate their pain and bring peace. Now, just want you to think a good thought for the world. Imagine prosperity. Imagine the term prosperity, and as we bring our energy and attention back to the present moment, just consider the ideas of prosperity in all the ways that we can manifest it in our lives these days. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. And that's our meditation for today, my friends. That is our prayer to close things out. I always like to have a positive ending to things. There's a lot of problems in the world. We know that. They're not hiding from us. They're presenting themselves right in front of us. But we have to think positive, because that's how we're going to get through these challenges. That's how we are going to get through them. We can make it through these challenges. We definitely can. I know we can. And there are many others who know that we can as well. You just have to start off by believing. And by believing, it makes all the difference in the world. So keep believing. We got a great week ahead of us. Let's keep the faith, my friends. Keep the faith. For Dirk Bradshaw, my name's Josh Poet. I'll be back tomorrow. Talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.